In this series of videos, we're going to focus on the kinematic sequence and how 4D motion can help you help your clients. Now, during these videos, I'll be switching back and forth between AMM graphs and 4D graphs. That's the simple reason is all the information and data I've collected over the last 11 years has mostly been in the AMM system. And 4D, I just hadn't had enough time to collect a lot of the tour data and for that matter, a lot of the high handicap data that I've collected over all these years. But it'll translate really well, and I think you'll get a really good picture of what we want to do. So the first thing I want to really point out is the kinematic sequence is the entire swing. What I hear from a lot of coaches across the country and across the world, and some players for that matter, and other people, is that the kinematic sequence is only the downswing. So I want to make it very, very clear that we're going to be focusing on the entire sequence. This is the entire kinematic sequence from the start to the finish. So in these videos, we're going to first focus on the address and the takeaway. So we'll be looking at that. Let me give you some of my preferences there. If it's, some of the overwhelming data that I have, I'll give you that. But sometimes I'll just say what my preference is. I'll give an idea of why I have that preference. But it's still up to you to think for yourselves and decide what your preferences are. So if it's fact, I'll tell you it's fact. And if it's a preference that I may have, I'll try to explain why I have it, and then you can make up your mind for yourself. So address and takeaway is what we'll look at first. Then we'll move into the backswing, take a good look at that. And then we'll move into the transition. We'll move then into the downswing. There's the downswing, we'll move there. And then from there, we'll move into impact and look at that. And then finally, we'll look at the follow through to the finish. So at the end of this, what I want you to be able to do is I want you to be able to look at what a less than optimal kinematic sequence would look like and differentiate that immediately from what you might see in a tour kinematic sequence. So even in this early stage, we can clearly see that those two graphs are very different from these two graphs. So I want to make sure that you can, immediately see things in the kinematic sequence without a lot of looking around or having to go back through. And then we want to be able to go look at this one and say, oh, those are pretty good right there. And so we definitely are seeing a high level swing when we look at this. So as we move forward through these videos, watch them over and over again, get some of your own ideas, ask questions, do whatever it is that you need to do to learn the data and the information that I'll be transferring to you. So let's get started on the address and the takeaway.